Often the outside thighs get quite tight, and this is a great way to massage the outer thigh. We've opted to have a bent knee in the front just to aid with the weight of the body on the massage roller. So if we're going to start just below the hip joint and travel just above the knee joint. So what we're after there is the muscles on the outside of the thigh, your quadriceps, a little bit of the iliotibial band. And we want to ensure that we keep that area as relaxed as possible, and you're going to create circulation through the body, and you want the muscle to be nice and relaxed and released. So my suggestion is that you don't overdo this too much, and that you move very slowly on the roller, and just also be very conscious of letting muscle activity go. So up and down about 5 or 6 times, and then we'll change and do the other side. Here we've got a quadricep roll, or a way to massage the quadricep, which is in the front of the thigh. We've got one leg on the roller, the other leg is bent and out to the side. That will help to, again, just make sure that the weight of the body is not too heavy. So I'm just going to bring this leg down a little bit. Oh, there you go, good. So we're going to try and stay on right in the center of the thigh, and go from the top of the hip right down to the knee. So don't go too fast. You don't want to miss all the good bits in the quadricep. Make sure that your abdominal muscles are supporting the position of the back, and the shoulder girdle is not compromised too much. Once we get into the kind of tender area of the quadricep, maybe the belly of the muscle, I'm going to get you to move up just a little bit higher. She's going to squeal, I'm sure, here soon. You want to feel that when you bend the knee, it's a little bit like you'd normally do a conventional quadricep stretch, but you've got the pressure of the thigh on the roller, you've got the myofascial release, or the rolling of the roller against the fibers of the muscle, and then you've got the stretch component. So there's a lot going on there to try and release the tension in the thigh. You can also opt to roll a little bit on the inside or the outside of the thigh, just so it's not dead center in the front. So obviously it's a three-dimensional leg, so play around with some of the medial and lateral inner and outer aspects of the quadricep as well. We're going to have a look at an inside thigh release, so an adductor release. We've got Dom in a side-lying position with the top leg on the massage therapy roller. From here we're going to roll onto the front, onto the abdominal region, and then just slowly bring it back. So as she rolls down onto the front of her body, the inside thigh has to open, so the adductor has to move into more of an open position, so an external rotated position, and then coming back to parallel. So if she stays down in this position, she's going to stay on that. We're going to press down on the adductor on the inside thigh, and the contact of the roller underneath the leg will hopefully release some tension close to that inside thigh muscle. You can either opt to have it very close to the hip, or you can have it in the belly or close to the knee, and depending on how you've rolled forward and backwards will determine what fibers you target along that whole inner aspect of the leg. Here's a good way to access the hamstring muscle using the massage therapy roller underneath the posterior aspects of the leg. So we're going to place the roller probably in the center of the leg, because that's where the bulkier part of the hamstring is. We're going to press down on the thigh a little bit with the hands, so you're getting a bit of pressure on the roller, on top of the roller. And from here we're just going to straighten out the knee. straightening the knees, extending the leg, which is making the hamstring a little bit more elongated, and then we'll bend the knee again. So repeat that. We're going to press down, lengthen out the knee. To increase the stretch, we'll flex the foot up a little. It might be a little bit neural, but so just be conscious of that, and then relax it. To increase the effect, we're going to come forward just a little bit, Dom. Actually, no, you roll forward. You can do it there, but we're going to come forward, no, this way towards me. That's it, stop. So then from here, when you straighten out the leg, the angle now of the thigh is going to be greater. So if you keep a nice upright back, shoulders back, and you're pressing down through the hands, this angle of the leg to the thigh is going to be a little bit more acute, and it's going to increase the stretch on the hamstring. So you've got the stretch and the pressure. The other thing to think about here is maybe just rolling the leg out a little bit and in, and you'll hit the inner and outer aspects of the hamstrings also. Here's another way that we can release into the gluteal in a seated position. It's based on a yoga move called pigeon. I'm going to sit in this position here, and this orientation to the floor, particularly if you lean forward, will already get a little bit of a stretch into the gluteal on this. In this instance, it's the right gluteal area. If I lower down a little bit, the roller will move backwards. It will traction the area between the hip and the thigh and just elongate the targeting muscle. And bringing it back up. Shift around on the roller in order to get the right feeling or the most optimal position for the pressure and the stretch. I have the right ankle stable at the moment so that the knee is protected, and I'm just trying to place as much weight down onto the front of the shin as possible. If you slightly shift to one side or to the other, you might find that the fibers also change in their stretched sensation. And just come back and we'll hit the other side. We have a variety of ways we can press down through the calf on the massage therapy roller. This is the first option. We're going to start in the belly of the muscle and just use the hands to press down. The orientation we've got George in at the moment is to lengthen out the hamstrings and also feel the whole posterior aspects of that leg. He's going for a few ankle circles, and dorsi and plantar flexion, which is a straight up and down, will help to increase the sensation. If we change the placement of the roller, we'll change the sensation and the acupressure point of the calf, and you'll just find that you'll get a little bit more out of the sensation. So close to the soleus muscle, a little bit lower, and the lower gastroc or calf muscle is a good place. If you press on the outside and the inside, you're going to get different areas of that calf. And another way we can play around with that is maybe just putting a bit of body weight onto it as well. So you can bend this knee a little bit, that's it, and just push down. Yep. Yep. Or if you're nice and strong, you can do the other option of placing it on top maybe even, and pushing down through there. So you've got a few options on pressing out through the calf muscle. Here's a nice, fast, quick way to release the calf muscles in a standing position. We're just going to place one foot nice and close to the massage therapy roller. Put the weight slightly forward, so you're pitching it slightly forward, bending in through the front of the ankle. You'll get a good release right at the back of the gastroc or calf muscle. If you place a bit of weight on the little toe side, it'll travel on the outside. A bit of weight on the inside will travel onto the inside areas. And you can play, almost feel like you're playing the piano with your toes. Get a good three-dimensional stretch around the back of the calf. If you slightly bend the knee, it'll travel down into the Achilles and soleus. It might be a little tight and it might feel a little strange, but we're heading down a little lower into the lower fibers of the calf muscle, and the upper soleus muscle and Achilles tendon, and also just depending on the angle here. Stay there for about 30 to 60 seconds. Always do both sides. Let's take a look at the foot release on the roller. We've got these great sensory spikes here which help the proprioception and the awareness of the foot. We're just going to go forward and backwards on the roller. The contours of the roller will help you to increase the arch of the foot. We're going from the heel right down to the ball of the foot. If you place the weight directly on top of the roller, you're going to maximize the amount of pressure that's going through the foot itself. And then you can choose to go straight through the center. You can also opt to go on the inner areas of the foot, which is George is doing here, or on the outer areas of the foot. And the other thing we can do is just trigger point the heel and just push directly down on it. And it's a nice way to quick release the like the plantar fascia and just any of the intrinsic muscles of the feet. With this exercise and this next exercise, it's a bit of an all-rounder. We are looking at the entire circumference of the thigh, from the outer areas to the inner aspects of the leg. We're starting in this position, which is right on the outside of the thigh, which is your ITB, outer quadricep. And if we roll forward, we're going to hit into the quadricep region, the front of the anterior hip. We roll back onto the outer areas of the thigh, and we travel right around to the hamstring. It takes a little bit of control from the trunk muscles and through the arm. The weight of the leg, or the weight of the body on the leg, is acting to trigger point all the areas from front, side to back. I've named this crocodile roll. It's a little bit like a rolling action from back of the hip, side to front. I've just moved the roller down a little so it's a little bit closer to the knee. You'll find that every time you move that roller, you're going to get a different sensation through the tightness of the leg. You just have a feel about where the tightest area of your leg is, and it's a nice way to educate where you've got tension. The shin is an area that's often hard to access, and the perineal muscles particularly are a strong stabilizer of the ankle, and it's good to make sure that these muscles are not only strong but also stretched out and ready to work again for us, so not accumulating stress and strain. The way to access it is to rest the outer shin onto the roller, and I'm going to come up into this position. So I'm supporting with the arm and also steering with the leg. And if I just bend the underneath knee a little bit, I can guide the amount of pressure that goes onto the outer shin. You can feel the bulk of the muscle going right from the top of the knee through to the ankle bone. If I want to increase that a little bit, I can choose to put both legs on. It's a little stronger. Obviously it's not going to be for everybody. Watch that we're not too heavy on bone here, but rather really targeting the muscle. You need to work on your trunk strength and your arm strength, and just release through that whole outer area of the shin. Another place that is quite difficult to access is the front of our ankle. When we walk or run, a little bit of a heel strike, particularly when we walk, we have to dorsiflex our foot in this position, and the front of our shin can get quite tight, or the front of the ankle can get quite tight also. A creative way to try and release that is to kneel and place the roller just underneath the front of the foot and just gently lean back onto the foot and feel the anterior or the front of the ankle opening up. And be very conscious that you don't want to place too much weight too heavily and too quickly down into these areas, because not every ankle is going to like opening up in that manner, and the weight of your body is quite strong, so you just need to be quite conservative with it to begin with. Also, you are in quite an acute knee flexed position, so we also want to guide that. If it does feel a little strong, you can always aid it in this manner, be a little bit more open through the knee, put a bit of pressure down into the foot. And even this position here is a nice way to open up through the front of the ankle. Rolling out, if you wanted to roll out through the front of these muscles, you can always use the roller on the front of the foot or anywhere up through the ankle and shin bone. Just opening up through that whole anterior aspects of the foot.